They did not, make their calculations based only on material calculations. Because the world is not only what we see, the material world. There are other dimensions to life, inshallah, as when we talk about Iman, we will see. Okay. Optimism, other qualities that we need as Muslims, resilience. And you will find these clear in the life of the Prophet ﷺ and his companions. These are the qualities of greatness. Adaptability. Adaptability. Islam gives a huge amount of flexibility, but with an unwavering heart. Hearts don't change in terms of faith. Actually, they get stronger. They don't waver. But what happens? It allows us flexibility. And this is why anyone who says that Islam is about strictness, Islam is about harshness, they have no clue what Islam really is. Islam is so adaptable, and it gives you that adaptability. Within its rules, there are dynamics of adaptability that you don't find in any other system. Any other system, if it can display the same amount of adaptability, it would lose its essence. But Islam maintains its core and allows this beautiful adaptability. And then self-discipline. Self-discipline, that you get yourself to achieve. You do whatever is necessary to achieve what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands you to do. So this is generally speaking, and we will come to talk about these in detail, inshallah. Now I just want to share with you some of the contemporary examples why some smart Muslims are dumb. It seems to be a contradiction in terms. When I was in the UK, there was this brother from Iraq, young brother, very intelligent, very polite, wonderful character. I saw him a couple of times, and one day in Ramadan, I was leading the Taraweeh prayer. And there was a problem. This brother created a problem in the masjid. It did not originate from this brother, but from someone who was teaching him. The one who was teaching him had a serious problem in his understanding about Islam. This brother sends people to speak to me. They say, why don't you make dua against the American army, the British army, and these, why didn't you make a public dua? I said, simply, we just can't. And what is dua for then? Dua is a worship between you and Allah. Why do you have to make it public? It shows there is politics behind this. And then they created so much trouble in the masjid to the extent that the people in the masjid were about to fight. And I stood after Taraweeh, after I realized what the situation was. I told the brothers, before we pray with it, give me 3 minutes. And subhanallah, I just lost it. I spoke for 27 minutes. The brother rushed out of the masjid and was totally upset. That was the last time I saw him. And then some brothers spoke to him from the masjid, the same response. He was getting some ideas about, we have to kill everybody, we have to, these are non-Muslims, they are free booty for us. We can do whatever we want. He got involved in fraud and things like that. And ultimately, I saw him a few days ago. But where? On the news. He blew himself up in Stockholm. Have you heard about this? And he killed himself. He was 29. Intelligent Muslim, good-hearted, had good intention, concern for the ummah, the symptoms we explained. Concern for the ummah and things like that. He left behind him 3 children and his wife humiliated by the police. And you can imagine what happens after that. And now the Iraqis in Sweden have to stand out and have to, hold signs and everything that we do not approve of this. We are Swedish citizens. They have to explain to the people that we don't approve of that. And in Sweden, there was no anti-Islamic, anti-Arab, anti-Asian movements. At that stage, it was parked, and now there's an official movement, just like the British National Party. They're sending help there. They're sending intellectuals to teach them how to initiate a movement, an anti-Muslim movement there. Anti-immigrants. So he was intelligent, he was good-hearted, and he tried his best. And look what the results are. This is what we need to understand Islam. Okay, the other example is the Nigerian, and unfortunately I have to say this word, But because he's the nappy bomber, or do you call it the diaper? The one who put the underwear, yeah. The underwear. They call him in England the nappy. You know, because of that incident, they have the body scanners now. Muslim brothers and sisters have to go through that, or choose the pat down in a humiliating fashion. And it's going to get worse. Now, who is ultimately behind this? Now, I don't want to talk politics, because we don't have real clues. We don't have real clues about this. Oh, battery. Go on. Khalas, inshallah, I'll try to improvise. So, these are very serious problems that that show that we really need to understand our deen right. Now, this person spoke Arabic, the Iraqi. He spoke Arabic. He could read Quran. He could understand the Sunnah. But there was definitely a serious problem. Now the Khawarij at the time of the Prophet, after the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they were Arabs. Native speaker Arabs. But what was the problem? The Prophet ﷺ explained, يَقْرَؤُونَ الْقُرْآنَ لَا يُجَاوِزُ تَرَاقِيَهُم. They recite the Quran and it never reaches the hearts. So it's in the mouth, but it never makes it to the hearts. It means there's no understanding. They think they understand. They believe they understand. As many people think they understand today. But they don't really understand. They don't really understand.
This is a serious problem. You teach the youth.
Go ahead.
How do people level all the iman food on the youth so they can go out and they're proud Muslim? In the same time, they don't do this different.
Okay.
So how do people?
Okay. The situation in which we live today, the state in which we live today, was not created overnight. There were intelligent people behind it. People who understand a lot about psychology, sociology, and about history, and about politics, and about human behavior. And they've been working on this for hundreds of years. So don't think we can change it overnight. And this is why I said we need an original approach. We always say that the solution is in Islam. Obviously it's in Islam, but it's our responsibility to go inside, into Islam, deep into Islam, and deep into the life of the Prophet ﷺ and get that out. Okay? I mean, we can always theorize and we can argue about what can we do. Now the solution is in Islam. The solution is in Islam, but the problem is with our approach. Now the proposition I'm trying to give here is just an attempt. Obviously that's my personal effort, and I believe it's well informed with the contributions of the Muslim scholars, especially the early ones. I claim that it is, and I hope that inshallah it is. So, and I believe each one has to do their own share, until ultimately inshallah things will change. So things will not be the same. As we say in Arabic, دوام الحال من المحال. It's impossible for a state to remain all the time there. Okay. Okay, so these generally extremism is another example. You can see that the damage that has been brought about by this whole trend of extremism. As I said, regardless who's ultimately behind it, what the plot is, I don't really know, and I don't think anyone can really find absolute evidence about it. So generally speaking, we treat it as based on what we see it. And we see that Muslims are responsible. Like anyone who says that this, because I read some of the comments about the news on the internet about this Iraqi brother who blew himself up. Many of them said, no, it could not be a Muslim who could do this. It's all a conspiracy and things like that. But he's a Muslim. He's a Muslim. He's a young Muslim. There are Muslims who believe like that. And we believe that these people are victims. We believe they are victims and they need that we extend our hands to them and that we try to teach them the truth that we believe we know. But it doesn't come just like that, because many people warn against them. It's not enough to warn against them. You can warn against that kind of methodology, which is obviously wrong. We have to warn against it. But we have to still extend our hands to these people and get them out of it. I believe personally, because I've seen that by personal experience, is that this person is a victim. I have no doubt about it. And the one who will be questioned about it is the one who taught him. these things. And he still has many victims. And Allahu A'lam what will happen later on with that. So basically this kind of approach that I believe we have to develop as Muslims in order to really understand our deen well and be able to practice it. So I will just move on to something that I spoke about on Saturday, and I'll approach it from a different angle. What I will try to do inshallah in this series, I will share with you a personal experience. It's been a personal struggle, because I've always seen the great example of the Prophet ﷺ and the companions. And I realized what transformed them was faith. We today have faith, or have the sources of this faith, Quran and the Sunnah, and the understanding of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. But why can't we do something similar to the companions? At least individuals. Forget about the whole ummah, but at least individuals. Why can't we replicate this kind of experience? Why do we have many Muslims preaching Islam? Sometimes students of knowledge, sometimes strong students of knowledge. And when you see the way they carry themselves in life, it has nothing to do with Islam. They're just like the people around them. So there is a gap, there's a problem. So I tried myself, to be honest. I immersed myself into the books, more specifically Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn al-Qayyim. And I was so keen, I was trying to understand. And consistently I was reading in the Quran and the Tafsir and the Sunnah, trying to find some connections, some clues about how does Islam transform us. We always say Islam makes us happy, Islam makes you strong, Islam transforms your life. And we see that with individuals. We do see that with individuals. But do we understand how it functions? What are these inner dynamics of faith that can really set things right? Because that kind of awareness helps you replicate the same experience. With most people it happens by chance or by habit. They don't understand why Islam makes them grow. They just feel it. It's very subtle. But can't we get these things out? Ibn Taymiyyah, and I say without doubt, Ibn Taymiyyah understood exactly. But there's a problem with really deciphering his language very well. Understand exactly how faith is formulated in the heart and how it transforms gradually until it creates what we call behavior, what we call character, what we call attitude. And this is why Ibn Taymiyyah, his story is amazing. When Qazan, the army of the Mongols, when it was approaching Damascus, everyone was scared. A great deal of the population of Damascus, they flew to Cairo, to Egypt, which was a very long journey. Ibn Taymiyyah, even the leader there, he decided to leave. Ibn Taymiyyah went to him and he said, no, you have to stay here and they'll go to Egypt and get soldiers to come and fight and we have to defend it. We can't just run away. And then he took some of the most important, the official scholars, the mufti of that time, which were on the madhab al-Ash'ari at that time, and they were enemies of Ibn Taymiyyah. They went to see this Qazan, this leader. Now no one would even dare come closer to that army, but they went. And they asked for permission to speak to Qazan, and when the army knew that they were the important people of this town, they allowed them in. When they entered, they received commands, sit down, sit down. Ibn Taymiyyah did not sit down, he stood up. And he started speaking to Qazan. Qazan, now, he was like, there's nothing like him today on earth. At that time, no one could say a word to him. He was like Fir'aun. He could say to the people, Ana Rabbukum al-A'la. He was claiming to be Muslim though. He could say this, like out of arrogance. No one could say a word to him. Ibn Taymiyyah stood next to him and he said, أَنْتَ تَزْعُمُ أَنَّكَ تُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. You claim that you believe in Allah and the Messenger? Now some of the narrations indicate that those scholars, some of them, they got their thumbs like this. They said, we didn't want splash of his blood to be on our clothes. And they said, we're dead. This guy put us in trouble. Now we're dead. He said, أَنْتَ تَزْعُمُ أَنَّكَ تُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَعِنْدَكَ مُؤَذِّنٌ. And he reprimanded Qazan in a style that a father reprimands his little child. And they say that Qazan was baffled. And he said, who's this person? He loved him. He loved the courage that he had.